This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
Rooker, it's a fly ball to deep center. Robert going back at the track. He will turn and watch it fly.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Adolis Garcia sends him the other way. That sends Carroll back. He's at the wall. Grows. Ronald Acuna, another milestone in a truly historic season. Julio with an absolute nuke out to left field.
It's Glaber Day. And like a good Glaber, Torres is there.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe. From humidors to Stuff Plus to walk-off dingers, we have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good morning, everybody. We have a baseball game. Has been played in Seoul, Korea. Been watching the highlights. It looks like a weird play has helped decide the Dodgers beating the San Diego Padres. This just in. It does not matter where they play. It doesn't matter what country they're in. It doesn't matter how far they fly from Los Angeles or San Diego. The Dodgers own the Padres.
A big 5-2 win for the Dodgers. The ball, I don't know if the video you saw showed it. I actually randomly woke up and watched like an inning of the game last night. It wasn't when this happened.
Wow.
Darvish struggling
in the department of get a life. You got up at 3 a.m. to watch Dodgers Padres?
I randomly got up and I was like, oh, that game's on. So I turned on the third inning. I watched the third inning and then I went back to bed. But apparently the ball went through Cronenworth's glove, like the webbing of his glove at first base.
Gavin Lux hits a chopper to the right in between second base and first. Cronenworth on the backhand went right through the webbing of his glove. Dodgers win the first game of the year 5-2, a comeback victory. They score 4 in the 8th inning. Many of you have said, I don't know if this Ohtani thing's going to work in L.A., but Ohtani goes 2 for 5, has an RBI and a stolen base.
Nice little debut.
Just take a guess. I mean, you're good at predicting things. Just take a guess. How many innings Tyler Glasnow went in his debut as a Dodger? You haven't seen, have you?
Yeah, I already saw it.
Oh,
but I'll take it. But I
can
tell you
if you were to guess,
ooh.
A man who's 31 now,
30 or 31, yeah,
has only gone 120 innings once
last year.
What would you think in his debut they would send him out there?
Less than Yu Darvish, but
what would you think? What would you guess?
3 1/3, 3 2/3.
Really? You'd only guess 3 1/3?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he only went 120 last year. I mean, he didn't pitch a full season.
I mean, he's a horse.
He got paid too.
He's a horse.
Thank you, Boach.
He's a workhorse. He went 5 innings.
That's pretty good.
77 pitches.
That's like Blake Snell territory.
You might have to put him on a first-class flight and rush him home for therapy. Tyler Glasnow went 5 innings to start the season. Wow.
Like I said, he went deeper than Yu Darvish did. Darvish only went 3 2/3, I think. Might have been 3 1/3. 3 walks.
3 2/3.
1 earned run, walked 3.
Yeah, you're making it sound like he had a bad outing. He gave up 1 run.
He gave up
and it wasn't earned.
The inning I watched, he had 30 pitches at it. He was at 20. He was cruising. Then he had 30 pitches in the third inning.
They threw it all out, though. I was watching some of the video this morning. They threw it all out. It was a big celebration. It's awesome. We've done that. I will never forget Ichiro, his final game, and you're like, this is not like, I don't know, pick a guy. Cal Ripken Jr., we've had some big farewells, right? Cal Ripken had a big farewell. Tony Gwynn had a big farewell. I'm trying to think of big farewell.
Mario and Rivera
had a big farewell. Jeter had a big farewell. But this was different. Ichiro, it was a farewell from a country, not a city. This isn't like Baltimore or New York or San Diego saying goodbye to the players of the guys I mentioned. This was a country. It was huge. Ichiro, I mean, He's essentially done, right? And we all waited, and I was on the air. You guys were all asleep. I was on the air, and we're waiting because no one had left the stadium after the game. We didn't know that there was a private ceremony being done, and Ichiro was waiting for his good friend Bob Melvin. You now see pictures of it, for Melvin to get over there, and there was a ceremony, and it was incredible.
Bless you.
Wow. Got me all that. Reminding got me all
A little emotional.
No.
I mean, I'm the Ichiro guy here.
So, yeah, I mean, it was seeing pictures of it and Bob Melvin talking about after how just the respect and just it's. So then Ichiro, after they do this private ceremony, Ichiro comes back out of the dugout and the Tokyo Dome goes nuts. I mean, it would be like, this is what the Beatles would have been like. This is what, I mean, it was just like, the place went nuts. And he went all around, and it's like the Olympics where all the lights, all the flashes from the cameras, now, everybody's using cell phones, but still back 2019, they were using cameras and the flashes were going off, and it was cool. So watching all the festivities and the singing and the dancing, and everybody's getting stuff and the presents. And when Major League Baseball goes abroad, these events are really cool. And I've been very fortunate to do it twice. So Padres and Dodgers being lavished with gifts as the Dodgers take game 1. Mookie Betts had 2 hits. Max Muncy 1.0 had the first hit.
There's a number. There's 2 things I was going to bring
Joe
up.
Kelly pitches in this game. How old's Joe Kelly?
30. He's in his mid to late 30s now, I want to say.
Got to be late 30s, right?
Joe Kelly is
like 38.
Joe Kelly's 35.
35?
He'll be 36 in June.
Seems like he's been pitching since the 80s.
Well, there's 2 numbers I'm going to throw by you that a lot of people aren't focusing on, but we will, because that's what we do on this program. The game was 3 hours and 5 minutes long. And
the international games tend to go longer. Remember the Red Sox and the Yankees, that this is before the pitch clock in London, and the games were like 4.5 hours.
Well, they scored like 38 runs in those 2 games. This game saw 7.
I mean, how do you have a baseball game that's 4.5 hours? My God.
Yeah.
Did they have the pitch clock going?
Yeah, there were. You know how many pitches were used?
Oh, well, if Glasnow's going 5 and Darvish is going 3 2/3.
Dodgers used 5 pitchers. Padres used 8. So 13 pitchers using.
That's great baseball right there. I want to see 8 different unnamed, unknown relievers in a game. That's what I want. I want to get everybody in the family roadster. Let's get everybody. I know kids got homework. We got work the next day. Obviously, I'm talking about if this is a regular season game in the United States. I want to pack everybody up. I want to go through the traffic. I want to pay the money because I want to go to the ballpark and I want to watch 8 relievers pitch.
Yeah, not if you take away the starters, there's 11 different relievers.
11 relievers in the game. My God. And it's just game 1. That doesn't matter. You're going to see this in July. You're going to see it in August. You're going to see it in September. 11 relievers. 11. The guy who holds the ball used to be a star. The guy that starts the action. We are the only game where the defense, because pitching is a part of your defense, we are the only game where the defense starts the action. Football, offense has the ball. Basketball, offense has the ball. Hockey, well, the offense has the puck. It can be stolen, and then the defense can be on offense. But you get what I'm saying. The offense starts the action. We're the only sport where the defense starts the action. And the minute you make the guy who's on the mound who holds the ball a nobody, that's bad news. And you used 11 relievers. Can you imagine? I mean, I don't know how the KBO goes, but is the KBO big on using bullpens?
I think their guys pitch deeper. I think.
I mean, if you're the KBO, you're a Korean baseball fan, and you're watching this, you're going, oh my God, are they changing another guy?
So
how many commercial breaks can we go to?
Plus it was ESPN, so there's probably a lot of commercial breaks built in. Anyway, but quickly before we move on,
look at this. Cosgrove goes 2/3 of an inning. De Los Santos, an inning. Matsui, 2/3 of an inning. Peralta, 1 inning. Brito, he got 1 out. Morjon, I have no idea who that is. Got
Adrian. Adrian Morjon.
He got 2/3 of an inning, and Estrada got an inning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 relievers. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 relievers. Padres used 7 relievers. That's exciting.
And so I was going to ask you, over under 5 innings today for, well, we'll do both. Over under 5 innings for Joe Musgrove, and Yamamoto is making his debut today.
Joe Musgrove's coming off injury, so no chance.
Yamamoto,
I'll take the over.
There you go. Okay.
Now I just got to get to 5 1/3. I need 1 out in the 6th inning.
Yes. Okay. Because saw an article today that he's already listed as an ace. So.
Oh yeah, this ace is. Our friends over at NBC in their preview called JP Sears an ace, and he's not even our opening day starter.
That's correct. Alex Wood is the. If you missed it, Alex Wood is the A's opening day starter.
Oh yeah, everybody. I mean, he's an ace. He's an ace. It's like Oprah. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. Now, Oprah. That would be awesome to go to Oprah and you walk away with a free car. Here, everybody just gets a false title. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask you, like, we could do this exercise real quick. They put out the opening day starter for every team.
We got to set up the show. My apologies. We were into the. So once again, biggest news of the day. Doesn't matter where we go on this beautiful globe. Dodgers own the Padres. Remember? So if you remember last year, Jesse Agler, who does play-by-play for the Padres
in Korea, came
on this program. And it was the Padres preview. A's were playing the Padres that day. And I said, the Padres beat the Dodgers in the playoffs and your fan fest, everybody's talking a big game, but are you sure you guys have slayed the dragon? And he's, oh yeah, taking care of them in the playoffs. Okay. And then, of course, the Dodgers go out and spank everybody last year. And the Padres, at the very end, Bob Melvin and the Padres finally got a little bit hot just to get over 500. But, yeah, the Padres struggled. Bob Melvin moves on. Juan Soto gets traded. Peter Seidler, their owner, the managing general partner and owner, passes away. It was just a disastrous year.
Blake Snell's a Giant.
But they claimed they had slayed the dragon the year before because they won 1 playoff series. The overall record of the Dodgers versus everybody in the NL West is a joke. Like Arizona, my Snakes, if you took the Dodgers record away from the Arizona Diamondbacks, their record's far better. It's just they get spanked every year by the Dodgers. The Dodgers, we would have to go back and look when the Braves won in the 90s. They won those 14 straight division titles in the West. But the way the Dodgers have won the West, other than was it 2 years ago when the Giants won 107 and they won 106?
It was 2021, 3 years ago.
2021.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
We just started a season.
Yeah.
These have been blowouts. I mean, it hasn't been close. The Dodgers are winning by what did the Dodgers win the West by last year?
Wasn't it like 15 games? Because
nobody was close.
16. They won 100. How many games they won last year? Because
it's over by summer.
They won 100. Arizona won 84. So the 16 games.
I mean, it's over by the. Chris Gimenez from MLB Radio will be here at 11:30. He's actually down. He's in Gilroy, right?
Yeah, he lives in Reno.
Bring him back home. Boog Sciambi, one of the voices of baseball, and the Chicago Cubs will be here at noon. And Johnny D at 12:30. Is there something you want to get to before I start talking about something that I think is fascinating?
I was going to ask you. I was going to go through it quickly. Every opening day starter, who you thought was an ace or not.
All right, let's go with your aces.
All right,
Who's your ace?
All right, well, we already did Glasnow and Darvish.
No.
Jose Quintana or Freddie Peralta?
No.
Corbin Burns or Patrick Sandoval?
Corbin Burns was trending, but no.
Wheeler or Strider?
I would go yes.
On both?
Yeah.
Okay. Frankie Montas, who's starting for the Reds, or Josiah Gray?
No.
The Padres and Dodgers don't have their games listed against the Giants and Cardinals, but Logan Webber, Miles Michaelis.
Logan Webb's trending. I need another year.
Okay. Jose Barrios, no. Or Eflin, no.
Barrios is getting taken out in a playoff game last year like that. No.
Jesus Luzardo or Mitch Keller?
No.
Cole Reagans or Pablo Lopez?
No.
Framber or Nestor Cortez is starting on opening day for the Yankees?
Nasty net with Garrett Cole's out.
Yeah. Well, not Carlos Rodon paying all the money to.
Framber's pretty good, dude.
Yeah, he is. Free agent after next year for the Astros. So they got another 2 years with him.
I'd go yes on Framber.
I do. Yeah. I think he's good.
Nasty Nestor, no.
Garrett Crochet, Tarek Skubal.
Come on, man.
Some people are high on Skubal this year.
But we're talking about an ace.
You're
talking about a guy who's either one size. He's always up for. I mean, an ace is somebody that has a resume. You people have all done a resume, and yes, you people out there, you've all done a resume. You know when your resume is thin, and you know when your resume is badass.
Okay.
When you're making stuff up on your resume is not great. But when you have too much information, I've got too much. Have you ever put a resume together? I haven't put a resume. I couldn't even tell you. I don't even have a resume. What have I done a resume?
I mean, I have one, yes, and I update it.
You do?
Yeah. It's always nice that when you add new stuff from your job, I put stuff on there just to have it.
Anyway, when you have too much stuff and you're like, wow, I got to make this one sheet.
Dude, that's the worst.
But that's when you got a resume.
Yeah.
That's a real resume. When you've got real stuff to put. All these guys don't have that.
Nathan Eovaldi or Justin Steele?
Nathan Eovaldi has never been able to stay healthy enough to be an ace. But he has ace-like stuff.
Yes, and Justin Steele had a good year last year, so let's do it more.
But he was phenomenal last year. He didn't work. All your stuff plus didn't work for him.
That's true.
Remember, he didn't throw hard enough. All he does is win games, but you don't care about winning games.
Alex Wood or Shane Bieber? Bieber stays healthy. He could. Yeah, he's trending that way.
Bieber used to be.
Gallon or Freeland?
Wait, who?
Alex Wood or Shane Bieber?
Oh, I forgot. It's us. No. As much as I like Wood is making his first opening day start at 31, 32, whatever he is.
33.
33?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're making your first opening day start at 33, that's not putting on the resume of an ace.
So Gallon or Freeland? Gallon's trending.
Zach Gallen is trending hard.
He's pretty good.
Like Logan Webb.
Yes.
Zach Gallen and Logan Webb are like they go out and do it again. I will not have an argument against them. Who else is the other one?
Kyle Freeland.
No.
All right, this one's interesting. Brian Bayo, Little Pedro.
No.
Or versus Luis Castillo.
Ooh. I'll go with Castillo as a yes.
He's a solid, very solid pitcher.
He is one of the best pitchers in the game.
He doesn't get talked about. In my opinion, I don't think he gets talked about enough.
He was in Cincinnati.
Yeah, and now he's in Seattle, and I think
Which leads me to this. Years ago, and I know that sometimes we get into the business of baseball and people go, oh, who cares? Well, it really does matter. Let me give you an example. Years ago on my talk show, there was a guy or multiple people up for the commissioner of a different sport. And I remember having Mike Silver, longtime Bay Area based Cal guy, NFL writer, who at the time was working for Yahoo, back when Yahoo mattered. And so I had him on my show, and I asked him about, hey, you got all these candidates, and one of these guys, this Roger Goodell guy, and he scoffed at my question. Nobody cares about who the commissioner. I don't even know why you're asking. He gave me some weak, kind of like trying to make me look bad. Well, years later, on the sidelines of a Raider game, I made sure to remind old Mike Silver, hey, remember you tried to make me look bad on my show and you said the commissioner of football is not a big deal? And I had ESPN up on my phone. How's this Kaepernick thing going with Roger Goodell? Because Roger Goodell seems to be the biggest story in sports. He had to backpedal pretty quick. Just a reality. And I bet you he would say he doesn't even remember. Because Mike Silver is what Mike Silver is. Yeah, Roger Goodell has been it's been a firestorm. He's made the NFL owners a lot of money.
He's made a lot of money.
He's made like $44 million a year, whatever it is. But you can't tell me that hire didn't mean anything.
When he got hired, like 06?
It was a long time ago. I was doing a show with my buddy Larry Krueger. And he's been a controversial figure in the world of sports for a long time. And that hire did matter, didn't it?
Yeah, he's been there since 2006. So almost, 20 seasons?
Right? It's a big deal. So when we talk about these things, and you might think, who cares? No, these things matter. And right now, we've got a problem in our game that has come to all of our attention. That I guarantee you the owners and the commissioner are really watching. The Players Union, which has been considered the strongest union in our country, not in sports, but some people have called the Baseball Players Union the strongest union in the United States of America. There was according to Scott Boras, and there's articles now all over the place, that there was almost a coup as they're trying to oust the number 2 guy to Tony Clark. And that would be Bruce Meyer. And this is the player reps. Player reps. The guys in uniform, in our dugouts, are not happy. The players are not happy. So I talk about all the time, the next big fight is between the owners, right? It's really the owners against the owners. Slow down. Baseball's a drama queen. We always got drama. The Players Union is like, not so fast, Townsend. We're still going to be a major problem. If I had to see this, if I'm the owners and if I'm the commissioner, I'm loving this. You want the Players Union to be in disarray, right? You want them to be fighting because you already know you got your own problems. You got your own owners fighting against each other. It doesn't hurt to have the players fighting their management, their union. And it's over what I keep talking about. See, what the players have figured out over time is they have a rigged system set up. And it's a system that they set up themselves. This is something that the old school players wanted. The old school players years ago said, to hell with the young guys. We want veterans to get paid. This was before analytics. This is before we said, I'm not paying a guy in his 30s. Years ago, we loved paying guys in their 30s. We want you to have service time. As some of you would say, I want some dirt underneath the spikes. Look at back of the baseball card. I mean, all you got to do is turn on a Major League Baseball radio broadcast and hear the worst cliches and statements of all time. He's got some dirt. I need a guy who's got dirt underneath the spikes. We don't want the guy that's dirt underneath the spikes anymore. We want the guy who's coming in fresh with no dirt and he runs. He's a deer and he's an athlete and he's in his 20s. That's who we want.
Or 19 like Jackson Churio.
So that's what we want you to serve 6 years. Yeah, we'll have arbitration, but we want you to serve 6 years before free agency. So what all these players are realizing is that, man, this system is set up for the star players to get paid. And the rest of us, we only play on average 2 to 3 years. So Scott Boras's theory, his business theory, that the tide raises all boats is garbage. Certain boats rise pretty high, but not the thought is, well, if Trout signs for 4 something, that means everybody else is going to go up. And what baseball has proved this year, no, it doesn't. Now, I'll take you to other sports that you and I have worked in, the NFL, the NBA. When I hear all these old school baseball people say you'll never have a salary cap, it's horrible. Oh, really? Have you looked at an NBA roster? Have you looked at what everybody gets paid on that bench? The salary cap, that truly raised all salaries. Everybody gets paid. Not just, and we limited what Steph, LeBron, KD, what they could get paid. They're going to be rich no matter what. So you brought more of a floor process into the NFL, into the NBA. So now everybody on the bench in the NBA gets paid. It's not that crazy, folks. 15 guys are getting paid in the NBA. Baseball's 26 now. It's not that big of a difference, because whenever you bring the NFL into it, people go, the NFL roster is so big. Everybody in the NBA is getting paid. Because what they do, they got the salary cap. I'm capping what Steph Curry makes, and that means everybody else can get paid because there's basically a floor. Baseball doesn't have that. Baseball has this archaic system. We're only going to pay the stars. And hopefully baseball players are finally figuring this out. Wait a minute, I could be making way more money. I keep agreeing to a system that just takes care of the stars of the game. When we had that article come out in The Athletic about all the arm injuries, and they're talking about using pitchers like running backs. The average pitcher is, guys blowing out his arm, turn and burn. These guys, we're just mowing through these guys. Well, guess what? You're not going to make that big money if you're constantly in a turn and burn process. Kind of like how we used to pay NFL running backs back in the day. Now we don't, because we don't have an Eric Dickerson, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith doing 30-plus carries a game. We'll have 4 or 5 guys. But the whole point is, are the players starting to figure out that this, and supposedly, I'm not totally up to date on how the players' union, the hierarchy works, but Bruce Meyer supposedly is a guy that is connected with Boras. And the other guy that they wanted, this Marino guy, he's the guy that set up the whole thing for it, and why players like him. His name is Harry Marino. They would like to see him be number 2. Hell, they might want him to replace Tony Clark. He's the guy that set up and took care of all the minor leaguers and got them unionized and got them getting paid better wages. So I know when you talk about the business of baseball, and you might go, it's spring training, we're getting ready for the season, why do we care? This stuff looms large. Because the CBA is going to end in 2026. You want to start negotiating in good faith what's best for the game well before this thing ends and we do another kind of lockout type deal. So yes, these things matter a lot. And when you have the players union, once again, considered the strongest union in the United States of America, some people have said this is the strongest union, and they're having their own internal fight, that's not good for the players. And it tells you the players are not happy, and they're not happy with the system that they have. Man, do you know how long it will take if we need to really redo how baseball works, how long that will take? And I guarantee you the owners, especially the commissioner's office, they like this. How would you not? The stronger the union, the worse it is for you. They're fighting internally. That plays for you. You've got your own problem with the haves versus the have-not owners. We already know the have-not owners are not happy. So if you got 2 sides that are not happy, so not only we can't even agree. Let's bring Chris in. Is Chris there?
Yeah.
Like Chris, If you and I are going into a you can't hear?
I can't hear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
I cannot hear you.
He cannot hear
One
us.
second.
I'll let him try to figure it out. Then I'll bring him back.
All right. Well, if we go into a negotiation and both sides, I mean, think about that. If you go into a negotiation, any kind of negotiation, and neither side is on good footing, neither side is 100% solidarity, that's where we're at. And when you start, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Boras is a drama queen. So when he's talking, that's a coup d'etat. I don't know if it is, but you know what? Dialogue can be healthy. There's no question dialogue can be healthy.
We'll try it now.
All right.
See.
Can you hear me now?
Doesn't look like it.
So his speakers.
Yeah, I texted him to try to look into that.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're talking about apparently a text chain of more than 20 players, most of all of whom union reps, were on a call on Monday night with Tony Clark. So Bruce Meyer, the deputy director who they're trying to oust, he wasn't even a part of the call. He's not even there to defend himself. But he supposedly is aligned with Boras. I don't blame the players. I mean, it's your career. It's your union. You pay the union dues.
Okay, you can hear us now.
Chris, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, guys. Apparently, you have to click the microphone thing on this. I'm still getting used to this.
I gave you the introduction like people think Babe Ruth is coming on. And you didn't even hear
I had no clue. I couldn't hear a thing either. I was waiting, and I'm like, oh, man. And then the screen popped up. I was like, oh, my goodness gracious. I'm sorry.
All right, so we're bringing you back home. Obviously, you grew up here in the Bay Area. I know you're up in Reno now, but obviously you grew up an A's fan. You grew up a Bay Area baseball fan, and being a player, I was just talking about how when you have labor strife, and to me, the next wave we've been looking at, and we know on our end, big owners versus small owners.
Right.
But this whole thing coming out about the players' union, it's like, wow, because people have said for many years that the players union for Major League Baseball is the strongest of all unions in the United States of America. And you start having player strife and you start talking about a coup and stuff like that. Are the players figuring it out? Or how do you see it as a former player?
I think this is something that kind of struck me by surprise initially when I first heard about it, because we hadn't heard anything externally. I'm sure internally within the union, there had been some of these conversations, because something like this, having been a former union member, would not have just popped up randomly, right? So this has had to have been something that's coming from a long time. And I think the thing that makes the most sense is keeping this as quick and swift as possible. One side of this or the other. Either you're going to get rid of him or you're not. But we need to squash this bug right away, because trust me, the owners, Major League Baseball, they will use this. They will find this wedge and continue to dig deeper into this as much as possible. And that's the last thing the union wants, because I will say this, the union is the strongest single entity in sports. They really, really are. Now, that doesn't mean that there can't be fractures at times, but ultimately this is something that I think will collectively bring the union together and make them stronger as a whole.
So as a former player, do you want a system where we're going to always make sure that the limitless money is there, right? That's the idea. That is the Scott Boras business plan, that the tide raises all boats. So that is a star-driven system where the stars are going to get paid.
Right.
Or would you like a system that says, you know what? I mean, Jesus, the stars make X amount, they're going to be fine. It's generational wealth, but I'd like everybody else to make more money. I'd like everybody else, especially, I'd like to see people get money faster in our game. As a former player, what kind of system would you like to see?
Personally, I think seeing guys get paid sooner in their careers at an earlier standpoint, I guess, would be a little more productive in my case. Yeah, would I like to see the money grow? Of course, but I think the money should grow with the game as well, right? We're not asking myself, this is my personal opinion. I'm not asking for you to pay exorbitant amounts of money to players if you're not bringing that same type of money in, right? Like if the game's growing as a whole, then I think collectively the players should be paid more as a whole. I understand it's a star-driven, company, so to speak, because the stars are who everybody pays to come see, right? It's the backup catchers like myself that kind of get riding on coattails on this. But if we could get guys to get paid a little bit earlier in their career, I think not only you're going to get better product on the field, because guys, it's really hard to get paid in Major League Baseball. You have to be around for quite some time,
right?
To be able to get there, right?
People don't think about that. People think everybody's getting paid. Everybody thinks that, there's this huge thing of cash and everybody's just getting. You're like, no, man,
it doesn't work like that.
You got to be around a long time before you get those big dollars.
6 years is a long time. The average Major League career is 4, right? So you're talking about maybe getting to your first year, maybe second year of arbitration, and that's on average in Major League Baseball. And the way teams are doing arbitration these days, it almost seems like a travesty. I mean, we're talking about a guy that we just signed, the Oakland A's just signed, and J.D. Davis, who took a $5 million pay cut when he won his arbitration case against the Giants.
Yes.
Now he signs with Oakland. And you know what? Oakland, to their credit, they gave him a $2 million deal when they really didn't have to. You know what I mean? They could have signed him for a minimum, and he would have been stuck playing for that. So I think in certain situations, trying to get these players paid a little bit earlier, I think will in turn lower the cost that it's going to cost these stars. It's going to take to sign these stars longer term, because now we don't have to worry about that. If they're getting more money earlier in their careers, you're also getting better play for longer. You can sign them to longer term deals earlier in their career, which we are seeing a little bit more of now, with Bobby Witt, guys like that. Ronald Acuna signed a pretty team friendly deal. I just think getting guys paid a little bit earlier would do the industry in itself a lot, better. They'd be a lot better off. Let's put it that way.
The J.D. Davis thing, I mean, we were like happy as hell because obviously the one real kind of question we had in spring training was third base, and you bring him in. And yeah, it's I think it's like 2.5, and then there's a chance for another 1.5. I was shocked reading the deal. I didn't realize if you win your arbitration case, if you go in, team presents, player presents, arbitrator rules in your favor, that in that process, when the arbitrator rules in your favor, the contract's not guaranteed.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's extremely unfortunate. And not to this extent from a monetary perspective, but I was really close to this as well. Being designated for assignment, they can do the same thing, right? They can put you on outright release waivers. They can DFA you. I gotten caught up in the DFA, world before. Thankfully, I was claimed, so my contract was still good. But we're talking about like $750,000, and this was back when league minimum was $500,000, right? So I mean, it's not like it was an exorbitant amount of money over league minimum. But still, when you're a backup catcher fighting for your life in Major League Baseball, that extra $250,000 goes quite a ways.
There's no doubt about it. And the system that I always talk about, and I know the salary caps and everybody freaks out, I'm always saying I'm trying to get more people money, and I'm not so worried about the stars. But we could get into that another day. All right, I want you to, as a player, because we on this show, we have said, we're not dealing with the ballpark. We're not dealing with relocate. We're covering the team. That's what we do. That's right. Somebody's still got to cover in between the lines, and we're like the last, because everything you read, everything you see, everything is not about baseball. So I want you to take me in as a young player who's getting an opportunity to play in Major League Baseball and live out its dream. When this team comes back, all the Bay Area media, they're just going to want to talk to these young guys about the ballpark and about possible relocation. I keep trying to tell everybody, these young guys don't care. They're here to win a job. So forget me saying it. I want you to tell people, you're a young player, you come here, you're about today, you're about the now, and you're about playing and getting as many innings as a pitcher and as many at-bats, and it's all about the opportunity right now.
I could not agree more. And truthfully, I think Oakland's staff is preaching this to the nth degree with a lot of these younger guys, right? I mean, they do not have a lot of older presence on this team. So in that regard, it's kind of the land of opportunity, I guess you could kind of spin it as, right? We're not going to worry about the things that we cannot control outside of the field. What we can control is what we do on the field and how we prepare and go about playing the game of baseball every day. And I guarantee you guys, that's exactly what this coaching staff, the front office, is preaching to this young core that they're starting to build, that, we can only control the things we can control on the field. You guys go out there on a daily basis, let it rip, have some fun, be those young A's that I grew up falling in love with initially back in the day, and we'll let the chips fall where they may at the extracurricular side of things, right? That's the hard part, though, is from the media perspective, that's, of course, the questions that we need to ask. We need to ask, are people worried about a stadium? Are they worried about relocation? Are they worried about the front office, this and that? When really all the players should truly be focused on is what they're trying to accomplish on the field that day.
And I think as this team and young players, you got to love the us against the world mentality. Like,
it seems to work well.
Yeah, there's something about it. What do we have to lose? Let everybody think we have no chance. Because I can tell you, being in that clubhouse during spring training, it's different. Like, there's competition for jobs. There's a lot of young, really good athletes. Just talk about what that mentality is like when you're going into a season with the chip on your shoulder, us against the world mentality.
It's actually probably some of the best teams I've ever been on that have had that similar type of mentality. I'll equate this kind of, even though it's a little different scenario, the 2017 Minnesota Twins that I was on was the first team in Major League Baseball to lose 100 games the year before and go to the playoffs the next year. And I think everybody, all the media outlets gave us they should have said we shouldn't even have left Florida, right? Like, what's the point of playing? Because you're going to win like 50 games. And we ended up winning 87 games, sneaking into that second wild card spot. So it is a lot of fun. It is that extra chip on your shoulder, that motivation. Not that you need any as a young player, but it's great. It's a great rallying cry for a clubhouse, right? That continued thought process of everybody's pulling on the same rope in the same direction, and you go out there and try to prove people wrong. I would expect, truthfully, some significant improvement this year in this Oakland A's team. Mark Kotsay is one hell of a manager, and people may not realize that because, have they been given, or has he been given, the most talented roster to work with? Okay, we can make arguments that maybe that's not the case, but he is given what he's given. And the Oakland A's as an organization as a whole have had a pretty good track record of being able to turn these things around. It's part of their process that they do. They build it up, they tear it down, they build it back up again. I think we're starting to see the beginnings of this build-up process, and there's some talent on this team. Don't sleep on a lot of these young guys. There are some players that can play.
We saw the Rangers, because during spring training, we only do the show Monday through Friday. So we had not seen the Rangers on a weekday until yesterday. So we did our Rangers preview yesterday, and obviously the defending champs, position player wise, pretty loaded. And they got the young guys coming up, this Wyatt kid, and
turns out he can hit too.
But you're like looking at the pitching and you're like, we have no idea what's going to happen with DeGrom. We have no idea what's going to happen with Scherzer. Jordan Montgomery hasn't signed. I mean, for a team that won the World Series, what do you think about all their question marks from a pitching standpoint?
I mean, there is no denying that there are question marks in that starting rotation in particular. I actually think they did a pretty good job of addressing a little bit of a depth issue they had coming through the playoffs at the back end of their bullpen. Signing Kirby Yates was a big part of that, right? I mean, a guy that's got experience at the back end. What they did not do, though, and what I think fans and most media outlets have been clamoring for, is bring back Jordan Montgomery. I think he made it very clear last year that he wanted to be there. He could be that stabilizing force that you can at least count on once every fifth day to go out there and eat up 5, 6, 7 innings at a time. Not that Nate Eovaldi can't do that. We've seen the type of stuff that he has. It's electric. Health has been an issue for that, right? He has not been able to stay healthy consistently the last couple of years. So what's to say that we would expect him all of a sudden to be healthy in 2024? I don't know if they've done their due diligence, right? I know they've signed some guys and they definitely have some talent coming back at some point this year. But the age-old adage goes, you can't win a division in April, but you can sure as hell lose one. And if they find themselves that far behind the tank at the end of April, early May, and there's no help in sight, essentially, with DeGrom and Tyler Mahle and Max Scherzer, they could find themselves in an unenviable spot. So it's going to be there's be a lot of eyes on that starting rotation, to say the least. I think if they can keep afloat, those guys coming back will obviously help, right? But what do we expect out of those guys? I mean, Scherzer's 40 years old. We've seen him ramp back up in a hurry quick and it not go so well the next season. Tyler Mahle, what are we going to see out of him? What are we going to get out of Jacob deGrom? I mean, that's kind of the X factor in this whole thing. Yeah, when he's healthy, is he the best pitcher on the planet? He's probably one of the top 2 or 3 for sure. I just don't know if we're going to expect, or we should expect, him to come back and be that Jacob deGrom, whatever point in time this season he does make it back healthy.
Yeah, let's not forget that this division and the wild cards came down to the very last weekend.
Yes, it did.
And the one team that was left out, I was trying to look at it. You played for the Mariners at one point.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, Seattle. So I'm like, they got left out. If there's anybody who's disappointing to me, and I get it, they're the roots and whatever, everybody seems to have some type of cable issues right now, right? But it's if there was a team that, like Jerry DiPoto, like, man, you need offense to go with this pitching. If you're a Mariners fan and you're like, man, we're so close, how disappointed would you be starting the season with what they have done?
I don't know if I would be as disappointed as I was last year. I think last year they truly had an opportunity to make some impact moves on that offense, and it didn't really work out, right? They put a lot on JP Crawford, and he passed that test with flying colors, right? I mean, was an all-star for him, had a phenomenal year at shortstop, was a huge part of not only their offense, but what they do within the clubhouse. Then you go out this year, you add Mitch Garver, you get rid of Teoscar Encarnacion. Like, you can say that that's kind of, one for the other. I kind of like some of the moves that they made. Luke Raley's going to be a sneaky addition as a left-handed power bat from Tampa Bay. I've known him with my time with the Dodgers. The kid can swing it a little bit. You obviously add in the veteran presence of Mitch Garver. You've got Cal Raleigh there. You've got Julio. I would be weary for sure, because we have not seen this group in particular, which is so talented, really take that next step. We thought that was going to be last year, but they ended up taking that step backwards. So I can totally understand your point in being a little more weary, but I generally think this team's going to be pretty darn good this year.
If I were to ask you, what's the number one thing that excites you going? And technically the season has started. By the way, you weren't around when I said, doesn't matter where we go on the globe, whether it's Los Angeles, San Diego, or anywhere around, the Dodgers own the Padres. It doesn't matter where we go. They've
true.
They have done. So the season has started. But what's the one thing for 2024 that gets you pumped up?
I just think that the growth of the game, from a world standpoint, I think starting the series, I've been a part of something like this where you've gone overseas, played some regular season games. That part of it, we could have a discussion about. It's difficult to deal with as a player, because now the Dodgers in particular are coming back to the United States after tomorrow. They're going to play a 3-game series in LA and in Anaheim versus the Angels. It makes it really difficult, right? You ramp everything up to get to the regular season for 2 games, and then now you have 3 spring training games left. That's a tough one to navigate. But how the game has grown on a global stage, I think, is so cool to see. I mean, the fact that I was up at 3:00 this morning watching the game. I was on MLB Network Radio at 4 a.m. this morning talking about it. It was a lot of fun to watch. You could see the excitement from the fan base in Korea. It's great that the game's getting an opportunity to grow, like that. And I think our stars have never been better. I mean, we have the best athletes on the planet. I mean, when you got guys that can pitch and hit, you got guys that can pitch, you got guys that can flat out hit, and they're pretty much on one team, it seems like. But joking aside, I think our athletes are better than any other game's athletes. They're more marketable. We could do a better job as an organization or an industry as marketing those guys, but I think our game is in a great spot globally and definitely here nationally.
Yeah, Sirius XM channel 89. I mean, for fan, you got football 88, got baseball 89. I tell everybody you need to subscribe. We love your channel. For God's sakes, on what day was it? Sunday. Sunday, I was at Mike Farron's big barbecue.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was on with him on Friday. He was talking all about that.
Yeah, I was there because I flew back late Sunday night. So we love Farron. We love everything you guys do. The channel is second to none. I've actually twice gone to Japan with the A's, and I got to tell you, I know it's brutal on the players. It really is. For us in the traveling party, it's awesome. As we're partying and seeing all the sights of Tokyo, I love how you guys are you're catching bullpens at the Tokyo Dome.
But you know what? There's a cool part about that goes along with it too. I mean, think about the experience. You know, I know the Dodgers, I know the Padres have brought a lot of the family members of a lot of their players. Just a really cool experience to get to, you know, do something that is completely out of the norm, right? And what a great experience for a lot of these guys.
All right, let's wrap this up. I know you've been up a lot. You've been up early today, so I really appreciate the time.
It's all good. I got 3 young kids, man. I'm up early all the time.
Being from Gilroy, are you a garlic snob?
100%. Yes. I eat garlic with like everything.
And you know garlic, and like you guys, it's amazing. And
don't sleep on garlic ice cream, by the way.
We're not far away where we are. I live in San Jose, so we're not far away. So we can smell it. We can smell it, but it's amazing. Everybody from garlic, when you get to garlic, you guys like you're snobs. You're snobs about garlic. It's the bottom line.
It's just kind of what it is. You know, you grow into it or you grow up into it. It's passed down. It's a family tradition. Everybody that grows up in Gilroy kind of has to be a garlic snob. I'm still looking forward to the next time we get the opportunity to up with the Garlic Festival. They took a break for a few years, had a major tragedy there a couple of years ago, and have not started back up since. But I keep hearing rumblings that there may be an opportunity here in the next year or two for that to get back going. And that's an awesome festival. For those of you guys that haven't been there yet, go try a ton of different garlic products, ice cream, lasagna, spaghetti. I mean, everything's got garlic in it. It smells incredible. Eat, drink, and be merry.
Watsonville, they're the artichoke snobs.
Artichokes, yeah, exactly. We all kind of have our little areas right there, I guess.
Yes. All right, you're up in Reno now. How much snow do you guys have?
We, up until a week ago, we had about 18 inches of snow. And then this last week, it's been about 60 to 65 degrees, depending on the day. So all of that down here is melted, but we've got a significant amount up in the hills still. A lot of these people that are ski bums up here, I don't happen to be one of those, unfortunately. They're loving life. I could do without the snow now. I'm good with winter being over. It's baseball season. I want the warmth. I want to see my grass start to turn green. We've got Little League, and there's nothing worse than being out in Little League when it's sleeting and snowing in April and May. That's kind of when you know it's Little League season in Reno, is when the crappy weather starts. But it's been beautiful the last week, so we're enjoying that.
Well, I got to tell you, we've been, as we have got my crew, as we've gotten older, the Vegas trips have now turned into Reno trips for our football. 2 years ago, we played Lake Ridge. Last year, we played Wolf Run. I got to tell you,
a good spot.
I'm telling you right now, from San Jose to Reno, you're only in the air like 26 minutes.
Oh, I know. It's awesome. You're literally up and over the mountain. It's the easiest, quickest flight. Cool views outside to get a quick check at Tahoe on the way over. It's a super simple flight and nonstop. What's not to like about a 26-minute flight?
45 minutes from the time you take off, you are in the casino, drink in your hand, ready to rock. And that's why I bring up the golf. I tell, hey man, there's some sneaky good golf up in
there.
Reno.
Really is. I got plenty if you want some. So you just let me know next time you're up here. I got lots of friends and lots of places that can get us all over this place. So it's a great golf place. Sneaky.
Well, hey, when you're ready to come back down, we will reciprocate because we've got all kinds here. See, where else are you going to go today? It's not going to be on Sirius XM or anybody else's show. You're going to talk garlic. You're going to talk about your hometown. Where are you going to get that?
You can't get it anywhere else but here.
Keep up the great work. We love listening to you. Sirius XM Channel 89. You're doing a great job, and let's have you on again soon.
Anytime you guys want, Chris. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. It's been my pleasure.
Take care.
You bet.
Yeah, he does a great job. They all do, as we've promoted Sirius XM a ton. It's what's cool about it is that years ago you had to have certain equipment. Remember, like a long time ago, you had to have equipment for your car. Now you can just the app.
You forgot one, by the way. Artichoke, Watsonville.
Who did I leave out?
Morgan Hill's the mushroom capital.
Morgan Hill's the mushroom? I've never heard that.
I live there, so the smell of mushrooms was just between that and the garlic. I mean, every morning it was.
Where are the mushroom fields in Morgan Hill? I play golf at Cordoval. One of my good friends is. I know multiple people that live in Morgan Hill. They never mention mushrooms.
They do the mushroom festival every year.
They do?
Yeah. It's like
bring it up.
It's a mushroom festival, Morgan Hill. I lived there for 5 years. It was great. See, Morgan Hill Mushroom Festival, May 25th.
It's not like the garlic.
No, not at all. I've been to the garlic festival before, and that was.
I did a show. What station was I on? Might have been KMBR. I did a show from the garlic festival years and years ago. Yes, everything garlic. If you love garlic, it's fun. I hope it gets back too, because it started getting dicey at the festival. It got so big. Actually, I was married. How long have I been married? 23 years? Is that how long I've been married?
I don't know. What years you get married?
01?
Yeah, 23 years. Well, 23 years will be.
I got married the same weekend as the garlic festival. Not a great idea, because I got married in Morgan Hill at Guglielmo Winery. Not a great idea. But, the festival got so big and some shady stuff went down. It's sad. We need to get that back, because the garlic festival was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it every time I went. I mean, it got really hard to get in there, like, because you have to get out of like tickets for everything, and then we went the first couple of years, and then we stopped. But yeah, it was getting huge. The traffic getting into Gilroy, I've never seen it that bad before in my life, and it's that weekend every year where the traffic was just insane getting to and from Gilroy.
We could call Boog Sciambi one of the voices of baseball.
I mean, he does do Sunday Night Baseball,
right?
Yeah,
Boog Sciambi, one of the voices of baseball. And also the Chicago Cubs joins us next right here on A's Cast Live.
Hey, Oakland A's fans, join your team this spring in Mesa. With nonstop flights direct from Oakland, there's never been a better time to head to the Southwest. Surrounded by the stunning Sonoran Desert, spring training fans know why Arizona is the perfect spring break escape. Miles of trails, shoreline, and sunshine combined for an unforgettable Arizona adventure. There's simply no shortage of things to do, see, and discover in Mesa. Get your visitor's guide at visitmesa.com.
Ever since we got Xfinity, we have Wi-Fi all over the house, even in my hiding spots.
Ha! Found you.
How?
That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now through March 21st, get started with 200 megabit internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Requires paperless bill and auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
This is Chris Townsend. There are two things that are a must for me: comfort and style. Whether I'm playing golf, going to dinner, I've got to have the right feel. That's why I've partnered with Linksole, and you're going to love Linksole. They have just released their new spring line, new fabrics for their polos, lightweight and perfect for technical performance. Linksole also has new styles for their layers and hoodies with cool prints and seasonal colors. You know what they say in the big leagues: look good, play good. Go to linksole.com. That's linksole.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop at Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Nestled in the hills of San Jose, minutes from Silicon Valley, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club offers 27 holes of championship golf, a first-class pro shop, practice facility, and great food in the grill. This time of year also means family and business get-togethers. Let the folks at Cinnabar Hills make your event unforgettable while enjoying their award-winning venue. It's all there for you. Championship Golf, a great space for any events, and incredible food. See it all at CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
Unlock offers and receive exclusive in-game features by downloading the MLB Ballpark app for iPhone and Android today. Plus, get the latest information on game times, schedules, and more.
Streaming from the studio, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
So my daughter wanted me to put it up. You see that, Commander?
I do. Congratulations.
So I officially have one child going to Cal next fall.
It's a big deal.
I have another child who has gotten into Cal but has not officially decided. I believe she will be going to Cal too. There's a good chance the Townsend twins will both be at Cal next fall. Very proud.
When I told you when you came in, it makes me think of the time where they were talking about great Yankees on Seinfeld. They're like DiMaggio, Gehrig, Ruth, Mantle, Costanza. I think of great Cal Bears, Melvin, Canna, Simeon, Townsend.
I mean, it goes deep, right? Stiglitz. Remember,
Yeah.
Stiggs is a Cal guy. Roxy Bernstein's a Cal guy. And everybody's making me eat crow for me talking crap about Cal all these years because I played against Cal. And kids are going to Cal. I'm going to have to wear Cal gear. I'm going to have to go to Cal football. That ACC power, Cal.
Hey, I know a guy if you need tickets ever.
Well, yeah, I want tickets into that. I want to because I've been in that club before. I want the sushi, and I want to be that guy.
Oh, you want to join us when we go? That's where I roll.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go above you. I got Robert Melvin in my corner. I got Dave Cavill in my corner when it comes to that.
Oh, I was saying my friend's the director of marketing or whatever his title.
Yeah, he also works for us.
Also true, correct.
I don't think we need just you. So yeah, the kids have committed to go to Cal. So very proud, no doubt about it. Do we have Boog?
We do.
How are you? Welcome to the program. We appreciate you stopping by.
My pleasure. What's happening?
Well, I need to apologize because we were both at Farron's place on Sunday, but I had to leave for the air. I was in the backyard woofing down ribs, and I come out. You were at the kitchen table in some conversation, so I'm like, I'll talk to him later this week, but it's great to have you on the program. And you know, one of the things what we talked about coming out here when it's Boog Sciambi's coming on, obviously with the Cubs, but really one of the voices of baseball. And we used to talk about this. I've had this conversation with John Millard before. What does that mean when someone goes, "Hey, man, you're one of the voices of baseball"?
Wow, that's a great compliment. I would just tell you that. I really appreciate that, and I mean to say my name after John's, I sort of feel like I'm sneaking past the bouncers and getting into the club. Like that's kind of what it feels like. So, I think if you let me sit with it, it's an unbelievable compliment. I think the way I would answer it would be, like I've gotten a call a bunch of all-star games, and one of the things that I think about when I get to do the all-star game is, young me listening to Ernie Harwell or Vin calling it, and just how special that was. There's something about baseball too that feels still, even though it's not the most popular sport, tied to kind of the history of the country even. And I don't know, I certainly don't think of myself in that regard. But I know when I think of John and Vin and those guys as voices of baseball, or Tony Kubek or Joe Garagiola, or Ernie Harwell, like that's really special. It's like, I can feel it. So, it's a really nice compliment. I know what it means to me when I think about the guys who would be considered that for me.
No doubt. It's a big honor and it's well-deserved, and it's a lot of responsibility. You just said it's not the most popular sport. And that it's painful because it's the truth. I'm very fortunate. I got to work in the NFL for years, so I understand how the NFL and even covering the NBA flew by. But just when you say that, how much is it like it shouldn't be that way? But it is. I don't know if we're ever going to be able in our lifetime to get it back, but just how tough is it to say that when you go, yeah, baseball isn't the most popular sport?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a dork about it, right? So I talk with people in the league office a lot, and when you look at the rules changes, et cetera, I want to see baseball as popular as it can be. I don't think we're going back. I think that, look, there are a number of things that contribute to it. One would just be kind of the short attention span theater of society in 2024. When you're looking at the NFL is just perfect when you're talking about fewer than 20 games, you can bet on it and it's violent. And even a fan who doesn't know very much can sit there, put some money down and yell, "Get him" at the TV. I think there's a little more sophistication to baseball and, growing up, the everydayness of looking at the box score in the morning and how did my favorite player do and how did my team do. I don't think we're going back. I would be stunned if we went back. It's still exceptionally popular. I mean, you're talking about a $12 billion industry. It still generates more revenue than the NBA does. So, I wish it would be that big again. But I'll also tell you this, I recognize this idea that the best shot for it to be that level of popularity again, in my opinion, would be you'd have to eliminate a lot of games. You'd need to make the game shorter. It would need to move faster. It would need to look more like other sports and other things in our world. It's why magazines have died. People don't like reading long form. Younger people don't read long form, takeout type stuff. And baseball is long form takeout type stuff. So it would need to be, in my estimation, to give it a shot, it would need to be 120 games. You'd need to cap it at 2.5 hours or however many innings you play. And then a whole bunch of other stuff. And I don't think we'll ever get there, first and foremost, because it'd be really difficult to execute all that and still generate the same amount of revenue. But those are my thoughts there.
Well, I tell people all the time, because I just got back from Arizona, and the state of Illinois dominates spring training. Sloan Park is absolutely beautiful. Yeah. And even when we're talking about the Southsiders and the Chicago White Sox fans, there's something about Chicago fans and Arizona, especially Mesa, Arizona. Just talk about how when it comes to spring training, nobody, and I mean nobody down in the desert gets more fans and is more passionate about spring training than Cub fans.
It's incredible. I mean, the buzz and the vibe at Sloan Park for these games is pretty wild. I had a friend come over last spring from England, and he has just kind of a cursory understanding of baseball, and he was just jarred at, okay, so wait, these games don't count, and there's 15,000 people here, and the place is packed. Cub fans are unique. And baseball in the city of Chicago is still, baseball matters. So it's one of the things I love, because that's where I want to be. But look, it's still got that classic thing, right? One of the aspects of baseball, for somebody my age growing up in a cold weather area in the Northeast, is that spring training starting means baseball's coming, but it means the weather's getting warmer. And one of the things that, Cub fans and people from Chicago and the Midwest do is they come out to Arizona to kind of expedite the process of the weather is getting warmer. You know what? Let's just go to the warm weather right now and just get a little sampling of it. And so it's really cool how many Cub fans make the trek and how many Cub fans are actually, in the greater Phoenix area.
At the winter meetings in Nashville, our set was right next to Marquee Sports, who you do the broadcast for during the season of the Chicago Cubs. And they were like sad kids because they never got to fire up their cameras because Bellinger didn't sign. Yeah. Nothing was going on. So from where we were at the winter meetings, nothing was going on, to now Craig Counsell's the manager. Cody Bellinger has a new deal. Obviously, it could be just a one-year deal, but how are Cubs fans feeling now versus where we were December 5th in Nashville?
Yeah, I think people are more excited. I think, the Cubs, people were waiting on the Bellinger thing, and I believe he always wanted to come back to Chicago, and I think Jed played it pretty magnificently in terms of waiting and waiting and waiting. And, the market's been soft for free agents, and the Cubs were able to take advantage. I think Cub fans are excited. They should be. I mean, look, a multitude of reasons. It was a good team last year that just missed out on the playoffs. It's a team that won one fewer game than the team that advanced to the World Series from the National League. They have a stacked farm system, and that's going to be how the Cubs eventually become great, is with Cade Horton and Ben Brown and Pete Crow Armstrong or Owen Casey, got Matt Shaw, guys like that coming, this year and next year and putting up, a 2.5 win season for the minimum. I think ultimately it's a team that probably is, an 84-ish win team. And in the National League Central, I think that puts you in a position where you're probably going to be competing for the division into September.
All right, let's end on this. Everybody thinks about you as a baseball broadcaster, but you've also done hoops for many years. We got the first play-in game going tonight. In your travels in college basketball, you got somebody you like heading into the tournament?
You know what happens for me is, so I do the Big 12, so I get to see what has been probably the best conference in America for the last 5 years. This year, it was good. I did the Big 12 tournament. It was disappointing. Just there were so many blowouts, and even in the end, the number one team in the country lost by 30 as Iowa State beat Houston. I think Iowa State could beat UConn. Would I say it's likely or would I bet on it? No, but I would say if they played 100 times, I think Iowa State would beat UConn 45 times. So I think, if they got to the Final Eight and played, I think that there would be the potential that they could beat them. I don't have anything real sexy. I understand the people that like UConn. I still think that if Baylor defends well enough out of the conference, that they could make a little bit of a run. If Houston were a little healthier, I think that, they certainly defend well enough, as does Iowa State. But look, at some point, I will say this too. People love to tell these stories and create narratives, but it's one and done, man. It's random. So remember, everybody's like, Tony Bennett doesn't know what he's doing, and they get knocked off by a 16 seed, and then they win the national title. At some point, Matt Painter his team is going to do the thing. I don't buy into, this is what their fate is. So I'm not saying it's this year, but they've been number one for a good chunk of the year for a reason. They're a really good team. So those are sort of some of my thoughts.
Hey, always great to have you on. We appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of beautiful Arizona, and we'll talk to you during the season.
You got it. Those were good ribs the other night, weren't they?
What was your favorite?
Oh, I liked them all. I mean, for me, I like pork ribs. So
I'm pork also, but I got to say, Farron's beef ribs were very strong.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, and the charcuterie, now it wasn't a charcuterie board, it was a charcuterie table. Like every day should be cured meats and cheeses in front of you every day. That was just beautiful.
It was like a ping pong table as a charcuterie board.
Great stuff. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it.
Boog Sciambi, the voice of baseball, ESPN, Chicago Cubs, hoops, been doing hoops for years. Good to have him on the program. Sunday Night Baseball. You hear him on, is he still doing every single week on Buster's podcast?
The last few weeks he has. I think Buster just had a podcast come out today. I'm not sure if Boog was on it. I didn't get a chance to see the guest word, but he's been on it lately. But he's on every week. Our good friend Sarah Langs is on every week. Hembo's on every week. So Boog does a good job on there. As Buster calls him, the legend.
The legend
on there. For everyone not sure, Matt Painter's the head coach at Purdue. That's who he's talking about. Purdue for college basketball.
I have not filled out my bracket yet.
You still got time. You got till tomorrow. UConn's looking to be the first national champion to repeat since Florida back in 06 and 07.
Oh, Billy O'Brien?
Was that
not Billy O'Brien?
Billy Donovan.
Billy Donovan.
That's Joakim Noah.
Bill O'Brien's the football coach.
Correct. The only other team to do it was Duke back in the early 90s. So those are the two teams to do it in the last 40 years.
I was about to say UCLA.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
UCLA's on the phone. John Wooden. What, back-to-back?
But last night, real quick, Virginia was playing one of the playing games. I'm a sucker. I picked them every year. They haven't won a game in the NCAA tournament.
They've lost early a lot.
Yeah. They won, so they got knocked out by Maryland, Monterey, Maryland, whatever. The
Maryland, Monterey. There's a Maryland, Monterey.
Is
that down in beautiful Monterey?
Yeah. They got limited by a 16 seed, but the last time they won an NCAA game was the year they won the national title. So they got eliminated by the 16, then they won a national title, then they haven't won since last night. They went 52 minutes of real time without scoring a point.
Are you saying Ralph Sampson's not walking through that door?
He is not.
And Sampson went to Virginia, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Ralph Sampson, one of the Twin Towers, is not walking through that door?
No. 52 minutes of real time, they didn't score a point.
How's that possible?
It's not. They ended the first half with 14 points. Then they won I forget how many minutes they went going in. They went into half, so you had real time with halftime and all that. They came back and didn't score until I forget how much time was in the end of the second half. It was not great, and everyone's saying they shouldn't have been in the tournament anyway. But
buying or selling, we're gonna have to get back into buying or selling.
It will.
My little tricksy game. Buying or selling, the NCAA tournament is the best American sporting event.
I'll buy that.
Buying or selling?
I'll buy that. I mean, you got people who are casual. I mean, I know Super Bowl does well, but you got people who are casual fans or not fans at all, and they fill up brackets just for the hell of it, and they pick mascots. Like, you can get – my wife does it, and she doesn't watch a lick of basketball. And her friends do it who don't watch sports, and they're filling up brackets. They base theirs off mascots and what good-looking actors or people went to those universities, but still, they still fill it out.
Better than we're not saying bigger. We're saying better. We're saying the best. Better than the Super Bowl.
I think for the excitement of it, yeah, because it's weeks long. And anything can happen. Like Super Bowl, it's two teams. With this, it's 64, 8,
But the
68.
question is, after the first weekend, the excitement tails off.
It depends. Depends
right?
on who.
And then it wraps up for the Final Four. But then the final game, always being on a Monday night, doesn't generate the ratings as great as you like. The totality of the event, but the actual last game does not live up to.
No, I get it because it's a Monday
night.
It's always
prime time. It doesn't. I mean, trust me, a lot of people watch it, but it's not the same as you've got people flocking to the first 4 days, and you're watching True TV, all these different places you're watching these games, and it's a spectacle. There's no question. The first weekend is just everybody's fired up. But it's like the interest kind
of and it all depends on who.
And then the wraps back up. That's the Final Four, and that's Saturday. Those two games, and then I would guarantee that the excitement for the two Final Four games is bigger than the actual national championship game. I don't have data to back that up.
I could see that, and then it all depends on after the first weekend who advances. Like if there's a Cinderella team or several similar people, I think the interest is still there. But if it's all number one seeds and high seeds advancing, I think people are like, okay, this is just ho-hum. But college basketball has been so unpredictable the last few years that there's been a lot of the 12 over the 5.
Like San Diego State's in the Final Four. You're like, what?
They were in a national title game last year.
What?
And so a team that's on upset alert.
My Gales. How about my Gales and Alex Jensen?
They're on upset alert. A lot of people don't like them against Grand Canyon.
Wow, because Alex Jensen texted me and it says he likes the draw.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to tell Alex that you're spreading that they're in trouble.
I picked them. No, my brackets. I picked.
But you're spreading here on a Bay Area driven show. You're spreading some bad juju on our Gales. When you say a lot of people, I have no idea what that means. What do you mean a lot of people?
I've seen people on X on the algorithm there that pop up for college basketball who saying Vegas likes Grand Canyon to
Grand Canyon.
They were like 28 or 29-4 in
Jacob
the conference.
Wilson's Grand Canyon. Get him on the phone. Let's make a bet. He's got a lot of money now being a first round pick.
But yeah, it's exciting. The first game's tip off tomorrow, like 9 something our time. Duquesne Dukes, and the only Pittsburgh school that made it. They're playing. I forget who they're playing. But
nobody cares. Yeah. Nobody cares about Pennsylvania out here.
LeBron's tweeting about Duquesne. If LeBron James is tweeting about Duquesne, it's a big deal.
Nobody cares. Connecticut back to back.
I picked them to win in every bracket.
Oh, you're so chalk.
I picked them last year.
You are so.
I won money last year because of them.
You're so chalk. You are chalk. You owe me dinner.
I wanted to go tomorrow, or we can go next Wednesday.
What's tomorrow?
We don't have
it. We have the day off tomorrow.
Yeah.
How do we have a day off?
There was 2 in spring. It was like a Tuesday or something like that, and then now we have the Thursday tomorrow.
Buying or selling? Cubs win the Central.
Selling.
Oh wow! Who's winning?
Come on.
Brewers, Cardinals, Reds.
You're forgetting the dark horse in that division.
Okay,
the Pirates are not winning.
I was about to say, Towny's little bookie shop's about to open up. If you're gonna say the Pirates are winning the Central,
I still like Milwaukee.
Really? Why? They don't hit, and their pitching's not as good. We just saw them in spring training. You're like, this team's not going to be that good.
I just think that they'll still have a solid.
You're going to die. You're going to die on that hill.
Well, I always die on
the
Brewers hill.
Die for some reason. You're dying on the Brewers hill. You're going to die on that hill.
I'm a sucker for them. I'm a sucker for Virginia Cavalier basketball, as I just mentioned.
I'm not going Brew Crew. What? You don't like the Reds? Baseball's back.
Well, they got Friedel's hurt now. Matty McClain's hurt.
Seriously, everybody's hurt.
Yeah, well, those are big injuries for them. They're Noel V. Marte suspended 80 games.
Is there anybody that doesn't have injuries? I mean, there's 30 teams. Somebody's probably doing okay, but yeah.
Everywhere
honestly, you look.
Knock on wood. The A's don't have any big injuries.
Now, by the way, Rooker going yard. See Rooker's bomb yesterday. Yeah. Like Brent Rooker's been the one guy who was not swung it well.
Andujar another home run yesterday too.
Where are we playing today? We at Sloan or
we're at home? We're at home.
Yeah, it's good to see Brent Rooker get going. See Rooker popping some balls out of the yard before we get this thing going.
Well, they had a home run yesterday too, right?
I didn't see the box score.
I think it was Andujar, Blade, and Rooker all had home runs yesterday. Mason Miller pitched another scoreless inning yesterday.
Andujar's going to be on the team, man. He's going to get some He's going to get AB. You know how much I love Blade.
Well, here's the lineup today.
Give me the line. Put it up there. Let's see the lineup.
So Noda leading off at first.
I'm telling you, we're going to see a lot of that this year.
Geloff batting second. Obviously, it's second. Seth Brown playing left field, hitting third. Brent Rooker, DH, hitting cleanup. J.D. Davis hitting fifth to third. Shea catching, hitting sixth. Lawrence Butler hitting seventh in right field. Esty hitting 8th and center, and Nick Allen batting 9th at short. Paulie Winday on the mound for the A's, Paul Blackburn.
Well, these lineups that you're seeing, these are a lot of the lineups you're going to see during the season, right? You're going to see Noda leading off. I think Gelof's going to hit second all year long. Speaking of Seth Brown, one of the leaders of this franchise, I love this quote. These young guys, the hunger is there. They all want to win. They come in ready to work, and that's the biggest cornerstone you can have is guys that want to work and want to get after it. Now it's just getting everyone on the same page and committing to the approach we have as a team. Talk about approach. Not giving away at bats, not being easy outs, strikeout. This team is going to be a lot better. And it's going to be fun to watch. The thing that's going to be fun is to watch how conflicted people are going to be. And I know this show plays inside the little kitchen area of the A's clubhouse. I want them all to hear it. It's going to be fun to watch you guys, if you're out there listening, to watch you win games and watch and listen to people be conflicted. Because what happens when everybody piles all the negative on this has happened for years, right? This isn't our first rodeo doing this. The negativity all of a sudden starts to thaw when the team starts to win. And all of a sudden, you're like, man, Gelof can play. Look, Brown's hitting dingers. Rooker's hitting dingers. Wow, this Andahar pickup was pretty darn good. Love me some Ryan Noda. What does he do?
Gets on base.
Esty steals bags. Man, J.J. Bleday is really turning out to be that guy Townsend keeps talking about. Man, Lawrence Butler's a specimen. And you start looking at, man, Nick Allen's got great hands. Man, this J.D. Davis pickup, wow, this was a steal. Shea Langoliers is hitting bombs again. Like, you start going through these scenarios, and people start going, this team is going to be better than you think. And next thing you know, Wood's a veteran guy. Stripling's a veteran guy. J.P. Sears continues his growth. 32 starts last year. He really becomes that really reliable guy. Paul Blackburn's healthy. Joe Boyle has got all the stuff in the world. He's 6'7", bringing it 100 miles an hour. Mason Miller, we got to get him a song. We got to get Mason Miller a closer song. You got to have something.
Got to find what kind of music he likes. I think last year, my sources in the in A's production said he used Billy Squier last year. I don't know what song, but I'd have to.
He's going 80s rock, Billy Squier, huh?
Yeah. So we'll have to see what he maybe the same thing. Maybe use something different this year. We'll find out. I got sources in the building.
And think about this, and I've said it. Mason Miller, like let's say the A's win 3 in a row. Odds are Mason's not closing out all 3 early. You need another guy. Danny Gimenez has looked great, right?
Yeah, he's healthy, so yeah.
I mean, you got multiple guys in that bullpen who have the ability to close games out. I mean, I'm giving you a story right here of why they're going to be far better than they were last year. And all of a sudden, people will start to be like, man, I want to be a part of this. But that's, for these guys, as we brought on Chris earlier, Gimenez from he played like 10 plus years. These guys are coming back to the Bay Area. They're coming back to win games. They're hungry. They got a chip on their shoulder. And all the outside noise doesn't matter. When it's game time, it doesn't matter. You think that a hitter gets into the box and there's a guy up on the mound blowing it 100 miles an hour? You're sitting here thinking about all the outside noise that the media is worried about and the fans are worried about?
I would go with no.
No.
Worried about that moment right then, what you can control.
Yeah. I mean, control the controllables. And this team's coming, Lawrence Butler told us, I'm tired of all the negativity. I'm tired of it. They're ready to come fight it. This team's coming to fight. Different than last year. So I love seeing these quotes by someone like Seth Brown? How about from Mark Kotze? Quote, offensively, we have done a lot better job with 2 strikes, and our mentality is set where we aren't just giving away the at-bat. Our approach with runners in scoring position has improved. Last season, we had a challenging time with that process, and so far this spring, we have made some improvements. They're winning far more than 50 games. They're winning far more than 57. Last time I checked, Vegas has it at 57.5.
Correct. I think that's what it's still at.
They're going to win far more than that. And if they start winning, watch what happens. Watch what happens. Baseball, because it's every day, is addicting. And it also is the most miserable sport in the world, right? When something is every day, that's just the way it plays out, right? When you got a team that wins every day and that's exciting every day, and even if you don't win every day, just as long as you play an exciting brand, it hooks people because it's every day. When your team's not good, it's miserable because it's every day. You got to watch the misery. It's a 6-month train wreck. But when your team's good and exciting, it's 6 months you can't wait to see. I can't wait to see how Geloff improves. I can't wait to see Brent Rooker. What does he do after hitting 30 bombs last year? I said last year, Seth Brown was the guy that was going to hit 30 bombs, right? And he was just, derailed by some injuries. Well, what about this year? Paul Blackburn being healthy. Like all these storylines with the A's that will suck you in when it gets exciting. And there's a lot there to suck you in. And I know people are like, you guys are just being homers. I didn't say this last year. To be a homer, you got to say this every year. The last 2 years, we did not. We weren't sick. We were not on the air saying, oh boy, Jace Peterson's going to hit 30 bombs. We were not doing that. We were like, well, it's going to be interesting. But we knew this team's different than what we've seen the last 2 years. Otherwise, we wouldn't say it. We'd figure out a different way to spin it.
There's another guy that I'm looking forward to seeing how he improves in another year. That'd be the great Johnny D. How does Johnny improve from year 1 to year 2?
Who?
Johnny Doskow.
You're talking about a broadcaster?
I'm just saying because he's in there waiting.
You're talking about he's getting paid either way, so it doesn't. You're talking about a broadcaster?
Well, I was making a joke more than anything.
Wow. I mean, everybody's so concerned with of a lot of things that are not players these days. I'm concerned with players. I'm not concerned with the other stuff. Everybody, you read papers, everybody's concerned about all this other stuff.
Papers.
Well, you read them online. Bay Area News Group. Bye-bye CC Times, Oakland Tribune. I mean, at least we got what do we got? We got the Chronicle. We got the San Jose Mercury. Do we have anything left?
For those are the two. And then obviously we have MLB.com with Martine, but we're looking for baseball news. Those are the
Everybody's concerned with everything outside of actual guys playing the game. That's how human beings are. Johnny's not. Johnny's worried about what's going on in between the lines.
I'm excited for Joe Boyle. That's who
Is he going today?
No, it's Paulie Wynn Day.
Yeah, we just saw Joe. We saw Joe Boyle on Sunday or Saturday. Johnny's every day, so everything's running. Is it now at a point, Johnny, it's just all running together?
What day is today? This is I love this. Great Monday today. Great Monday. Yeah, it really is.
Saturday and it's Saturday. Oh, what day is it? I mean, yeah, you've been there a long time, bro.
I know it. Yeah. Saturday, head out. We got 3 more games today, Friday and Saturday. Off day tomorrow. So I got the invite to Vinny's house. So I'm excited. The first time I got the invite, it was kind of a sympathy invite. I think it was more like, okay, it's the end of the spring. Come on. So
yeah, it's like he was kind of once I went, he had to invite you.
He did. I can't wait. We're gonna watch the basketball and have some fun. We'll be good. How you doing?
Please tell me, like, after this is all said and done, you're gonna take a quick little vacay.
No, it doesn't. I'm gonna go. We have 2 games in the Bay, so I'm gonna watch those. Whether I'm doing them or not, I'm gonna watch the game. There's still baseball. I mean, we got the day off on what? Did he
Monday?
Monday's game, right? Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday's off day.
Sunday's off day, and then Monday and Tuesday games. Yeah.
A little quick trip up to Tahoe, bet some basketball, play. Just a little relax, have a cigar. Take a few days. The Bay, no one cares about the Bay Bridge. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm excited for the basketball too. Who's your upset? You have any locks? You have any upsets?
I have not officially printed out and done a bracket yet, so I have nothing for you.
Okay. All right.
I got to do it today.
Yeah, you better. Yeah.
Do we have anything going here as an organization where we can officially bet on basketball? We just can't bet on baseball.
Yeah, I thought they sent an email out about it. Johnny, I'll give you one. I'm taking Duquesne over Clemson.
What's that?
Duquesne over Clemson. That's an 11.
Oh, nice. That's a good little upset. I'm gonna move. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna move this because I can't hear right now. I'm gonna move it over here.
Look at that. This is like live like we're at the Oscars and we're watching someone going down the back hallway.
Okay, let's do this. Here we go.
Doing a live remote.
Are you in the hallway there at Ho Cam?
No, I'm actually in the GM's room, the GM suite, the GM booth.
The great Dr. Curran educated us because there's Ho Cam and how do other people say it? Ho Cam. Now, the great doctor educated us as a man who's from the Valley. He said the tribe has been gone for so long, no one really knows. There's ancestors of the tribe.
Yeah.
The tribe's been gone for so long, no one really knows exactly what is correct and what is not. Everybody's just kind of guessing.
They are. I mean, when I say Ho Cam, some people look at me like it's Ho Cam.
I've always Ho Cam. That's like Ho Cam. If you remember back when the Cubs played there, they had all the people they worked there, they called hoes. And so there was a room that said, welcome all hoes, and everybody that worked there. So it wasn't, I mean, it's always been Ho Cam.
That's what I go with. But some people say
if anybody corrects you, you got to go, if we know our history, there's been no one really to tell us exactly because no one's alive who interacted with this culture, these people.
Exactly. Thank you. I'm going to keep saying Ho Cam.
Yeah, you keep doing you.
Thank you.
Are you getting the sense that everybody's like ready to pack up and come back home? Let's get this thing going.
From the trainers to the clubhouse guys to the coaches to the players, everybody is ready to roll. Everybody's ready to roll out. It's time. I mean, the players are playing. Look, we saw 3 players play 9 innings yesterday, so it's getting to be that time. The A lineups are out. So now's the time, and I talked to Ryan Noda, by the way. Ryan Anthony Noda is my pick to click today, by the way. And I talked to him, and he said, you want to get hot right now. You don't want to get hot on the 10th of March or the 12th of March. Right now is when you want to get hot going into the Bay Bridge Series. 3 games before the Bay Bridge Series, get hot, and then start to roll against the Guardians. That's what he said.
Well, seeing Brent Rooker go yard yesterday was a good sign. I mean, that was a big ball. I mean, because his spring hasn't been great, but his spring's different this year than it was last year, and that'd be great. So start hitting some balls over the wall right now, so he just jumps right into the regular season.
Towny, he hit 3 balls right on the nose yesterday. Even the out he made, that line drive to center field, and he's getting. Remember, he didn't have a great spring last year, bro. He didn't. He got hot once the season started. He did not have a great spring. Again, he was the last guy to make the team. But yeah, that was a welcome sign to see that yesterday from Mr. Rooker.
Yeah, because he's going to play a big part. You're going to need a lot of you got to hit home runs. There's got to be some home runs. And when you start looking at it, the guy that I think no one's talking about who's going to hit way more home runs than you think is the catcher. I got big predictions. Cody last year had Langoliers stealing like 80 bags. and he laughed at you because of it. Langoliers, I think, hits 25-plus bombs this year.
I think so too, especially because you remember how he was in like August and September last year. That's when he really started to get going. So I'm with you on that. I think this is the year that he maybe hits 28, drives in 90 runs. So I think he's going to have. Let me get my water.
He's moving again.
I thought Force was there and he kicked them out.
No, I got my water. I had to get my water. I'm coming back in.
All right.
Red
Paul Blackburn.
Yeah.
Expecting big things from him because, last year for him, you can tell he feels like was a lost year. And it was weird, freaky, nail this, finger this. Like, this is a big year for him because of last year and essentially what he lost.
No question. I think he's the fourth guy going to Towny. So it's like, look, you have Woody and Stripling and Sears and then Blackburn. So it's like, if he's the four, look, nobody's really talking about him. And this is a big year. He's got, he a year wiser. He knows how to pitch in this league. He doesn't overpower you, but he's just a smart pitcher with good stuff. So I'm excited to see what he does this year. And nobody's really talking about him right now.
Well, and here the Cubs are, so it's going to be a packed house because Cub fans are everywhere in spring training. Yes. It's amazing. They're interesting. I gave it to Cody, buying or selling. The Cubs are winning the Central this year. You buying or selling? Cubs bringing home the Central.
I'm buying. I think the Reds are going to be tough for sure. The Brewers will be there, but I think the Cubs are going to win the Central. I think that's a great call, especially the Japanese left-hander the other day was unbelievable. He was phenomenal, and he has a great year with Steele up top and the bullpen they have and their bats with Bellinger back and all that. I think they're going to have a good year.
Well, last year, if you remember, they were a team that everybody wanted them to make trades. Trade everybody, and they didn't. And I'm just Shota Imanaga. I was trying to remember the name too, Johnny. Shota Imanaga is who you're talking about for the Cubs, the Japanese pitcher. But the fact that they said, we're in this thing, and they didn't trade Bellinger. I mean, look how it lucks out. By them not trading Bellinger, not only do they get Bellinger back, but they got him like in their wildest dreams. No one would have ever thought they would have got him at this price.
I know. What a break. I think it's going to be it's obviously a team-friendly deal, but it's also great for Bellinger. I think Bellinger is he's going to end up being the beneficiary out of this once we get through the 2 years. I think he's going to sign a long-term deal after that. So I think this actually deal is going to be really betting on himself. I think this year is going to be a big one for him. And you know what? Look, when Bellinger is right, he's one of the best outfielders in the game. He really is. He went through those 2 years where he just struggled with the bat, but he's just a tremendous athlete. And if he's able to get to that high ball, that high fastball, if he's able to get to that like he was last year for a while, look out. He's going to have a monster year.
I hate to praise the Giants. You know that. Cody knows that. But I got to tell you, the waiting game for the Cubs with Bellinger, no doubt. Now the Giants with Snell. I mean, you're getting these guys, Matt Chapman, you're getting these guys basically on 1-year deals. You can say, it's 2 years, it's 3. They're all 1 year with an opt-out. To get Blake Snell on a prove-it, essentially 1-year deal, what are people saying down there in the Valley of the Sun?
They're pretty excited for the Giants, and of course Chapman made that great play yesterday. His fans have seen that a lot, so that was a fantastic play. So you'd love to see that if you're a Giant fan. But yeah, no, that deal for Snell at 2 years at $62 million. That's going to end up being a great deal for the Giants. And look, I think that completely changes the rotation, right? I mean, you got a guy at the top of the rotation like that. You got Webb and Snell. Pretty good 1-2 punch there, I'd say, for San Francisco. And they made the moves late, but they made the moves. So I think people in San Francisco are pretty fired up about that.
Well, if he has any type of a year, he's opting out of the deal. So it's like great. I get a guy who's super hungry. You go pitch well, fine. Go back on the free agent market. I got you for 1 year. It's about now.
Right. And then he signs for 4 years at what, 155 or something, right? Whatever it is, right? 4 years at 160. But yeah, so you're right. I mean, that's
now. Where are you going now?
I'm just walking around, bro. There's an echo in here, so I'm hearing us talk, so it's a little distracting. So I'm kind of trying.
Oh, we're in the speaker.
Out of home. Yeah,
you're in.
Kind of a man without a home right now, so I'm just kind of walking around and just kind of.
You do have a home, Johnny. It's called A's Cast. A's Cast.
It is. Oh, I feel home there. Thank you, buddy.
So are you going to Vinny's tonight?
Tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow night.
Yep.
I mean, you're going to the Gilbert Mansion.
Oh, I can't wait. Chicken enchiladas, Veronica. Are you kidding
me?
Oh,
you're getting the chicken enchiladas?
That's another level. I cannot wait. I can't wait.
So, is Vinny going to be there?
Yeah, Vinny will be there.
Okay.
Yeah, Vinny will be there for sure. Vinny will be there. I think that'll be
he invites you over. Oh yeah, he couldn't. He's getting his hair done.
Yeah, just like me. We got our hair done, man. Just like me.
All righty, my friend. You have a good call today, and then we will. Wait a minute. We don't talk to you. Is tomorrow a day off?
Yeah, tomorrow's day off, but Friday we'll talk. Friday.
What are you going to do on your day off?
I'm going to get some breakfast. I'm going to work out. I'm going to get some laundry done. I'm going to go to Vinny's. I'm just going to have a nice off day.
Are you going to lay by the pool?
People don't want to see that. No, I don't think so.
Come on, that beautiful resort you're staying at, laying by the pool.
You know what? Maybe I will. I saw a ping pong table too. We'll see what happens, man. Should be interesting.
That is such an inside joke. People have no idea.
It is.
All right, buddy. Hey, you have a wonderful day off. You deserve it.
Thanks,
and a little college basketball.
I'm looking forward to those chicken enchiladas too. Looking forward to it.
Because I'm sure you're not going to be investing at all in any of those college basketball games tomorrow.
No, not me, man. You got the wrong guy. Guy.
I mean, Vinny was grinding conference tournament games. Grinding. I'm like, who?
Johnny, real quick, know your NCAA tournament. Who was the last team to repeat in college basketball?
Ooh, was it Duke?
Duke did it in the early 90s, but there's a team that did it since.
Man, who was it?
That'd be the Florida Gators.
Oh, the Gators. Okay.
Now they're coaching the Chicago Bulls. That's how far they've
gone. By the way, I have the Cyclones winning it all, by the way. Iowa State.
Brock Purdy. It's a good pick. I mean,
by the way, Boog Sciambi, who we had on earlier, obviously calls games for ESPN, College Hoops ESPN, and Big 12. Boog Sciambi said the same thing. He goes, because I said, give me somebody, and obviously chalk. You know, your boy here is super chalk. He goes Connecticut again. He is chalky chalk.
Yes.
Disgusting. Boog said Iowa State. You and Boog, the voice of baseball.
Boog said Iowa State to win it all?
He said, watch for the Cyclones.
Always knew he was a smart guy. Yeah, look for the Cyclones. They're gonna surprise some people.
You have them going all the way in your bracket?
In my bracket, I have them winning it all.
Well, maybe I just got a tip, and maybe I go against the chalk, and I go with my guy Johnny D, who actually sports invest in this arena.
He's grinding the game.
I like it, Johnny. I like it. Let's go Cyclones.
Let's go Cyclones. Not Cyclones. Let's go, kids.
Because when I think basketball, I think Iowa.
Exactly. Why wouldn't you?
All right. Have a good call, buddy. And enjoy that mansion in Gilbert, the Catronio Mansion.
Oh, man. I'll get lost in that place. I know. All right.
Oh, it takes a while to get there. And then once you get there, you got to go through the security gates. You got to get through the butler. I mean, there's a process. Yeah. They pat you down. There's a lot you got to do to get into Vince's house.
Well, once you get in, though, those chicken enchiladas, I can't wait. Looking forward to it.
Hey, if you were the guy, you'd wear your swim trunks and immediately take the shirt off and jump in his pool.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
All right, have a good call.
All right, see you, buddy.
Iowa State.
They're a 2 seed. They're good. They're I forget who they have to go through on their side of the bracket.
Johnny and Boog Sciambi both like the Cyclones.
I think my team that's not a 1 seed I like is Marquette. I'm selfish because their coach. I like their coach, Shaka Smart, former VCU.
Yeah, did great at Texas.
Texas
gave him all the money, gave him all the power. How smart? How'd Texas do with him?
Yeah, not great. Why
do you like him?
Do you want to know why I really like him?
Actually, I don't even know why.
He was an assistant coach at my college. That's why I like Shaka Smart.
All right.
But Marquette is a good team. I don't know if they're going to win a national title, but they can make a run. I mean, they were essentially put on the map like Dwayne Wade, all those years ago when Dwayne Wade was there. So
I covered that Final Four in New Orleans that Dwayne Wade was in. I was there when Jim Boeheim cut down the nets in New Orleans at the Superdome. I covered it. It was Kansas. It was Marquette. Who was it? It was Kansas, Syracuse, Marquette, and Texas.
Yeah, TJ Ford was on that Texas
Correct.
team. Kansas had Collison and Heinrich. Syracuse had
a freshman who was pretty good.
Jerry McNamara. I'm kidding. He was there, but Carmelo. And was Akeem Warwick there too?
Don't remember.
Yeah, and then Marquette also had D.
By the way, New Orleans in Final Four is incredible.
Yeah. I don't know
because you got 4 schools in New Orleans. Like Super Bowl is cool in New Orleans. Final Four is way cooler because you got 4 schools. You got 4 fan bases just taking to Bourbon Street. It was wild. It was absolutely wild. And, they couldn't all be different, right? Marquette's different from Syracuse, different from Kansas, different from Texas. It was a wild Final Four.
The Final Four this year is in Phoenix. It's State Farm Stadium.
That would be in Glendale.
Yeah, actually it is Glendale. Hosts Arizona State.
That would be the stadium where the Arizona Cardinals play.
Then the Alamo Dome next year, then Lucas Oil, Detroit, Vegas, Indianapolis.
And then Allegiant Stadium stops by.
Yeah. And then, And then 2030, AT&T, Jerry's World.
You realize Allegiant Stadium has had the NFL draft. They've had the Super Bowl. And then they're going to get the Final Four.
There's also rumblings that they could get WrestleMania next year, too.
Taylor Swift set records there.
Yeah.
There are people who said that wasn't going to work.
I think it's doing okay.
I think Allegiant Stadium's doing okay.
I think they're doing okay.
It's the #1 grossing venue in the United States of America.
I asked you this earlier, and because I saw when Johnny was on, you were talking about Blake Snell. Blake Snell says he will not be ready to start the season, obviously, because he wasn't pitching really in spring training.
Who knows when he'll be ready? I mean, it's going to be a while.
But
the fact that he's basically on a 1-year deal, you don't baby him. You get as much out of him as you can because he's here for 1 year.
Yeah.
Unless he stinks. And then do you want him back?
No.
See, that's the thing with these deals, right?
Yeah, but he can opt. He could stay, and you're paying him 30-something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if Blake Snell goes out and does his 130, and then you got to pay him 30-something next year. Well, I don't know if it's 30 because there's a signing bonus.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, ideally, Blake Snell pitches great for you, and he opts out, and you go, bye-bye. But why wouldn't you want to re-sign him? He's now getting in his 30s, and no. Blake Snell is not like Logan Webb is becoming a guy that you build a rotation around. To me, why did Blake Snell get the deal? Hey, Blake Snell, if you want to go 4 or 5 innings all this time, but I was really good for 4 or 5 innings. Well, this is why teams don't want to pay you long term. You can't just have 2 years of your career where you showed you could actually pitch a full season. It's 2 years.
2 out of how many years he's been in the league. Yeah.
So that's why it's like garbage when you watch these people. He's a 2-time Cy Young Award when it's like, once again, look at the resume, look at the track record. So 2 years and the other year, there was some type of payday, if I remember correctly, after that year.
I think he got paid by the Rays, yeah.
There was something when there's financial thing, man, this guy's highly motivated and he gives you a lot. When there's not, now that could be just, things happen in life just the way it works, but it just shows there's been 2 years where he has given you a full season. 2 years. You kind of would be crazy to commit to him long term.
Yeah. And they already have Logan Webb locked up. He signed a 5-year deal, I think, last year or 2 years ago. So they still have him for a few more years. And Snell, I mean, if he pitches decent, he's opting out. If he pitches poorly, he's going to stay. And I think the signing bonus was like $15 million. It doesn't kick in for a few years. So I think he's making 17 this year, something like that. But yeah, you're hoping that if you're the Giants, you can just use him as much as you want, and he's going to opt out, and you don't have to pay him going forward, unless you want to keep him for a couple more years because of the connection with Melvin.
But he was the Cy Young Award winner. Okay, what did he do the year before?
It wasn't great.
He threw 128 innings, 24 starts, 8-10, 3.38. What about the year before that? 128 2/3 with a 4.20 ERA. Like, the last 3 years, 1 year's been good. The other 2 years hasn't been that great. I mean, he's had 2 years. He's made 30 starts twice. He's been pitching since 2016. He's had 30 starts twice. Twice. I mean, he really is basically here. 1, 2, 3, 3 years. There's 3 years where he's thrown out basically 128 innings. It's 129 2/3, 128 2/3, and 128. He basically is about 130 innings when he doesn't have super financial interest. The other 2 years, look what happens when he's got super financial interest. 31 starts, 21 wins, 1.89 ERA. Then the other year, 32 starts, 2.25 ERA. When there's big financial gains, he's 30-plus starts. When there's not, it's around 130 innings.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's really fair. I mean, who knows? Things happen. I got hurt. I got this. But I'm just saying, you've been pitching now since 2016, and this is what the track record says.
Well, the reason I brought it up too is he's going to. This is more of a joking thing. He's going to wear number 7 for the Giants, and I went through the people to wear number 7. You got how can we forget Bob Melvin was number 7 with the Giants? Kevin Mitchell.
I forgot real quick. The Boogie Bear.
Marvin Bernard.
Your great guy. Marvin Bernard. Put him on the wall.
D-Row, number 7.
Mark DeRosa.
Donnie Barrels, and most recently J.D. Davis was number 7 for the Giants. So there's Blake Snell. So
if you would have asked me any of those guys' numbers, I couldn't even have told you.
I didn't know Bob Melvin was number 7.
I could not care less what any job. Bonds wore 25. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Willie Mays wore 24. Bonds wore 25. McCovey was he 55?
That was Lincecum.
Or 33. McCovey was 33.
Lincecum's 55.
I didn't even know Lincecum was 55. I could not care less.
All right. Well, we got to go.
You don't even have their names on the back of their jersey either. Who cares? Giants got some controversy going these days. All right, coming up next, it's the A's and the Cubs, and we'll be back Friday at 11 a.m. Enjoy a little spring training, Cactus League action right here on A's Cast Live.
Nestled in the hills of San Jose, minutes from Silicon Valley, Cinnabar Hills Golf Club offers 27 holes of championship golf, a first-class pro shop, practice facility, and great food in the grill. This time of year also means family and business get-togethers. Let the folks at Cinnabar Hills make your event unforgettable while enjoying their award-winning venue. It's all there for you. Championship golf, a great space for any events, and incredible food. See it all at CinnabarHills.com. That's CinnabarHills.com.
This has been a presentation of the Oakland Athletics.